So I've been looking for a reason to commit on replacing this front wing. And I've got this little magnet here, and just here it's not really sticking. Compared to there. Just about there it goes light, which is a bit strange. I mean, there is bubbling, but if we head up underneath, right up there, that looks like someone's filled in a big hole, and there's plenty of rust around the light fitting as well. So that commits us to changing this whole front wing. Now, because I've got the A panel already missing, I'd like to know where the wing needs to be. So I've just knocked up a piece of metal to go onto one of these bolt holes, and then onto here, stop this flapping around, because I'm going to cut up there like that, and then around there, give me loads more access for dealing with the rust up at the top of this flitch panel. Here we go then, we've got one bolt through here, and then I've got it hooked over and bent over behind here, so this can't, I mean, this is pretty solid as a rock really. So it's not going anywhere, and now I can cut the rest of the wing away. I've just rolled this off really rather easily as well, so that wasn't welded on too well. Probably factory weld, but all the rust that's got into this join over the years means, yeah, not holding on particularly strong anymore. So when I do a repair or put new panels, we'll be better off. Anyway, as you can see, nice and sturdy. Time to get on cutting. Got a bit carried away. I've done a wing delete. Yeah, realistically, needed to be done. There's a lot of filler up in here that I'm finding, which is lovely. So there'll have to be some deeper investigations into this area, but I'm glad I have the access now. In terms of the wing, just grab that. For the most part, it's not too bad. Here's the bit where it had been fixed up. It actually looked pretty good on the outside, but just look how rusty that it really is. There's no way that this could have carried on in service. And this whole section missing. But this part of the wing, there's almost no rust at all. Digging away up under here then, I'm amazed to discover the scuttle is perfect, and so is the flitch above this surface here. There's a lot tidying up to do. Job for the flap disc though, and we'll get this all back to good metal and see about making a patch out of the panel I've got. I think it might just need a centimetre adding to the top of it here. Making some progress with this flitch patch then. So we've cut to the right shape, and then up here I do need to still remove a bit of material at the top there to make that fit, and then I got to make a small patch to fill in. There you go, you can see there. Make a small patch to fill in that section, that would be pretty much job done. But unfortunately, this is a terrible panel. Now, what do I mean that's a terrible panel? Swap the camera around so you can see. But if we come in here, you'll see this gap between the door skin and this lip here, which the A panel folds around. It's huge. I mean, it's about ½ centimetre too wide. So if I was to put an A panel on here, something like this, you know, you've got a big gap there, kind of a step in the side of the car. So that's a bit frustrating. The only option would be to buy a genuine panel and then take the cut off of that, which I'm not going to do. So one option that's left. Once we've got this welded to here and all solid, we're going to have to basically cut down here all the way to the bottom, remove ½ centimetre or whatever we need to remove. We'll measure it and we'll scribe it and then weld it back on, which is going to be really annoying. It is only holding the A panel though, so you know, we'll do a decent weld, but it's actually not really structural. You know, the A panel only folds around like that, you see, and fits up under there. I'll go get the actual A panel that I've got. Look at the state of that. I mean, we're almost exactly the thickness of the flange, too wide. Change hands. Don't forget here, this hinge hasn't moved. This is the original hinge bolted to the original hinge holes. So this has not moved. That's as far in as it will go. You can see just how far out it's sticking. So yeah, less than ideal. If I move my hand down, if I can. All the way down, you see? That's as far in as that will push. So a bit ridiculous really, how anyone can make that part and think that's the right size. Well, I'm just investigating behind the shock mount here, and it keeps going and going and going, unfortunately. So you can see I cut this square and it actually goes above here, so we're going to have to take this off. And then I cut this square and it went to the right, so I keep going to the right. Now this is the spot weld line, so I don't really want to go past here. But you can see the rust has come down, so I'm going to have to go underneath these holes. And then over here I came wider, and then I came wider, and then I came wider, and it's still showing rust. It's because this is two skins and the moisture's just come down, sat in between the two skins. Not a lot of paint in here, and obviously not completely sealed. So I'm gonna have to go a little bit further. I'm gonna have to come down. Don't really want to cut this lip off, but I'm gonna have to come down to here. So it's gonna be quite a good size. Anyway, change my blade, cut a bit more out. A quick look at the reality of the situation then. So you can see right there, that's the edge of the inside plate. And basically you can see the rot on the inside plate is this, like that section there. Actually up here it's fine. I do need to weld this up, these lines, and then we'll put a cover plate over this whole piece. Right, finished cutting. Okay, here we are trying to solve our problem with this dodgy panel. We've had to basically, we've had to cut this off of this panel and remove some metal, and then we'll reattach that in the right place. Some welding done in here then. Obviously this is now welded all the way down the seam here. I've also removed a load of material off the edge, and then I've just tacked the return on, which I'm going to have to weld all the way down. Just tack the return on in the position I think it should be in. And now, having turned over the edge on the A panel halfway, I fitted it down here where it needs to be and up here where it needs to be. You'll remember that I kept this little piece and bolted it through that hole. Pretty much, as you can see, it's lined up with that without too much difficulty. So I'm quite happy that I can go ahead and finish off this weld all the way up here to add the return back on. He's going to be next to get mounted up in there. He's a bit oversized actually, so I just need to shrink him a little bit so he can fit up underneath. But yeah, do not buy these patch panels unless you really want to go through all of this work. I wouldn't mind too much, but the fact that this return was too far out was, you know, hours of extra work really. Yeah, not recommending these at all. Right, let's get on with this, get this seamed all the way top to bottom, and then I can tidy it up, then we can get some paint, then we can do that one, then I can finally get onto this section over here. It's all fun and games. Here we are with the door back on then. So actually the shut gap looks pretty good to me. Won't be complete in putting that on, so now it's time to move on to this. So I'm going to just template up that hole. Ready for welding? Well, apart from paint and prep, but cut to size at least. A couple of patches. This is the outer skin obviously, and then if we whip this out of the way, behind here we've got the inner skin, this piece. So with my hand out of the way, you can see there's 3 additional holes here for plug welding onto the end of the cross member, and then we should be able to seam all the way around the edge of this patch, and then I'll just seam there and there where I lightly scored through, and then we'll get the outer patch on, which we just saw. So that fits nicely there. We saw that over the top of the other one a moment ago. So we should be good to have this issue solved. Welded up my score lines and then welded in the inner skin here. Now we need to let that dry with some paint in between. And then we got this one which we've put some paint on the back of already. There's actually some black in the middle, and then some gloss black in the middle, and then weld through around the outside. And then we'll get that welded over the top of there, and this repair will be done. Don't know if you'll see this, but here where I plug welded and then welded down, I've actually welded a small piece of metal underneath here. Just a tiny little strip, which should help. prevent splitting again. And now the second plate top cover on here, all welded in, holes are still there. We've got plug welds, 5 of them through here, and then obviously seamed all the way around the outside. So hopefully that will do us for a few more years yet, and we'll just get some etch primer on here just to protect that and the bit where it was split. On to the next little bit then. And up here, plug welds, so I put some holes along the edge of this filler panel. So obviously I painted the top side of it before I put it in there. That will be ready for a bit of etch primer up in there now. So nice solid metal, and we know that the inside of here is in great condition, so it's going to leave us to come on to these sections later, which is a bit annoying. Let's just get some paint up in here. Right, bit of paint in there. Thanks for watching this one, guys. We've got this all shored up, we've got this all repaired, and we've got the new panel up in there. Next up, next time we'll be fixing up under there. Might have a look at this section here, and also turn our attention to this front end, so we can be ready in this area for a wing later down the line. See you on the next one.